All right, welcome to the Rokani Media Football. The Premier League resumes tomorrow, and with a big one that you know very well. It's obviously gonna be Arsenal hosting Nottingham Forest at the Eberechi, a stadium that capacitates 60,704 in there for you. Last season, you know how it went. Arsenal went ahead to beat Nottingham Forest in there for you, and they beat them at the Emirates. And now Arsenal have gone ahead to play one game at the Emirates, and they beat Leeds by 5-0. And there comes Nottingham, who have obviously gone ahead to sack their manager in Nuno Espirito, and they have a new one known as Ange Postecoglou. A new manager bounce is one of those that we're obviously going to be discussing of, and will the new manager bounce effect obviously help Nottingham to prevent a loss from a team that everyone is looking at and is earmarking to obviously be the champions of the Premier League season of 2025-2026. All of that and more into the comment section below. Rokani David is my name, and smash the like button, comment and share. If you're only watching us for the very first time, please go into the lower right bottom corner, smash the black button that has the word subscribe. After smashing it, hit the notification bell. That will enable you get notified every time I upload a video onto this beautiful channel of ours. Now, as it stands, a lot is really onto the table in here, and it's really very important to note that the side of Arsenal went ahead to play its last game, and they were beaten by Liverpool by 1-0. And you all know to it that Arsenal really had the best display of the night, but Liverpool just needed one chance, and it came from a free kick. For me, that was not even a second, it was not even a half chance. I can't even try. Was it a quarter a chance? Because a free kick in that area, no one thought that it could cross to go into the back of the net, So that is it. And for the side of Nottingham, they hosted a team from London, and it beat them by 3-0. And this resulted into the sacking of Nuno Espirito. And that's why Ange Postecoglou, a former manager for the side of Spurs, who was sacked after he went ahead to obviously win big for the side of what's the side called? Win big for a side called Spurs in the UEFA Europa League final, where they beat Man United by 1-0, was really sacked. Now, both teams were played away and they lost. And now it's Nottingham playing away and Arsenal hosting Nottingham, and you're waiting to see how things obviously going to be panning out. But Arsenal comes into this game of football with 3 injury bursts. One, Nogard, who hasn't kicked a ball in the Premier League, is back. Benjamin White, who missed out on the game of, I think, of Leeds and the game of Liverpool, he's back. And even the manager in the press conference today, he has told us on how a player known as William Saliba has trained, and they'll have to assess him and see whether he's in right position to obviously go on and really start into that particular game of Nottingham at the Emirates in there for you. So those are the players that are going to return from injury for the side of Arsenal. But they're following Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Jesus, Kai Havertz, all those are really out. They're not even close apart from Bukayo Saka. And those are the players that are totally out for the club of Arsenal. Jesus, Saka, and Kai Havertz. All those are really out. Now, when we go to the side of Nottingham, there is Aina, who is really one of those that is going to find himself in a position of really getting injured when Nigeria was really playing, against South Africa. And Zinchenko cannot play because he's on loan from Arsenal to the side of Nottingham. Then new signing Nicola Savona is one of those that can be thrown in, and Nicolas Dominguez has an injury that he sustained on his debut, as he really went ahead, obviously, get into that team of Nottingham Forest in there for you. So as it stands, a lot is really happening, and I want to let you know that it's really gonna be happening thick and fast at the Emirates Stadium It's the early Kickstarter. I tell you, it's the early Kickstarter into the mix for the side of Nottingham and Arsenal at what we call the Emirates Stadium. And from the international break, Arsenal had some good players in there for you. I saw a player known as Odegaard firing a goal and really putting in a brace of assists. You know that very well. Then we went ahead to obviously have other players. Declan Rice having 2 assists in there for you. Noni Madueke came up and really destroyed the team they really played in. He really scored the opener into that game. So it shows you that he is really ready to see to it that all really goes on well as planned. So from that, we obviously get set to get into the probable starting 11 in there for you and see how things are obviously going to be panning out. Arsenal fans don't like Ange Postecoglou because they know what he did to them. And what did he do to them? You remember that game, the previous season of 20, not the previous season, but the previous season but one. It was, they played a team called, Arsenal needed Tottenham Hotspur to make City drop either 3 points or 2 points, either a draw or a loss. And Song Heung-min was left with the goalkeeper, and he really went ahead not to score that goal. You understand? Because it would have gone ahead to force that game into a draw. You understand? Now, forcing that game into a draw would have gone ahead to help Arsenal really win that league, because I think Man City went ahead to win it by 1 point. So it shows you that Ange Postecoglou and the former chairman, that is Danny Levy of Spurs, we are like, we cannot hand over a trophy to Arsenal because we are the North Londoners and there is that rivalry, and they really gifted that game to Man City. And we all know in history which team has come up to obviously beat a team known as Man City a lot. It's Spurs. Even this season, the second fixture that Man City hosted at Etihad, the first fixture they hosted at Etihad, it saw Man City losing to Spurs, meaning that Spurs would have gone ahead obviously help them draw points, but they didn't. So there is that beef, and they're like, Ange, we owe you for that. And they're like, we are going to come hard at you and see to it that all goes on well as planned. In goal, David Raya, who was really one of the unused goalkeepers for Spain, is obviously going to be making it into the goalkeeping department. And then you obviously go to the right back position. Benjamin White is back, but I think Julian Timber is in perfect shape to obviously start and really play in that position, because I do believe he's really the best right back at Arsenal right about now. Then you can also talk about the left back position for the club of Arsenal and ask yourself, who is obviously going to be into the direct or in the good mood to play, because they're having Ricardo Carafiori, they're having Lewis Kelly, and lastly, they do have a player called Hincapi, the new signing. And amidst all of those looking good, I think Ricardo Carafiori comes in through as the favorite to start, because I think he is a very good left back. And I think Hincapi, if he really bonds into this team well, I think he can obviously take over Carafiori, because I believe he's really good. He has more attributes, especially going forward and defensively, than Carafiori in there. In the central defense, left-sided centre-back, obviously, you'll talk about a player known as Gabriel Magalhaes, and the right-sided centre-back, even though a player known as William Saliba is really back, I don't think that you just throw him in there like that. I think the manager will obviously get Mosquera, having gone ahead obviously to play well against a team known as Liverpool, start him, play him some 70 minutes, and get in Saliba to get in 20 because he's returning from injury. Last season, it wouldn't have gone ahead to wait for Saliba to obviously not to start because of the narrow depth into that central defense for the club of Arsenal. But with Mosquera putting in a very good sharpness when Arsenal was really playing against a team known as Liverpool, I think he has and the right to start in this game, and see to it that maybe William Saliba comes in through to start in the mid of the week when they're really playing away in Spain in there for you. Now, from there, we obviously get into what we call the central midfield. Nogard is back and Zubimendi is there. And Zubimendi really went ahead to play very well and represented to the fullest for the side of Spain. And after him representing to the fullest for the side of Spain, I tell you what, he really retains his position. Fourth game, starting as a CDM for the club of Arsenal. And I know this time around, he won't really play 90 minutes as they are going to Spain. And he knows Spain very well. And I know Nogard at around the hour mark, he'll obviously come in through to put in a very huge shift altogether. Alongside who? Alongside a man known as Declan Rice. You know, Declan Rice will come in through to feature, putting up a brace of assists for England in the international break. And then Martin Odegaard will obviously come in through to play as a central attack midfielder number 10 in there for you. And that's how the midfield three of a side known as Arsenal will look into that particular game of football. According to me, it's really probable starting 11, and I don't know whether it will obviously change according to what the manager is really thinking. Now, going to the right forward, Bukayo Saka is out. That means you are having Max Dorman, Ethan Waneri, and Noni Madueke. What does that mean? It means that Arsenal really has a chance to really start Noni Madueke again. He really looked explosive and elusive when they're really playing against Liverpool, you know. And in the international break, he went ahead, obviously, add his greatness into that beautiful game of football altogether. Now, I think this is the right game for him to go in and really start and really prove to the world that he is the right player that Arsenal had to bring him through. And I know by the time we clock 10 games, most of the Arsenal fans who never liked Noni Madueke went ahead to obviously attack him left, right, and center will come up and really confirm to us that the lad was really good. And Arsenal went ahead to obviously bring in some good player that has all the attributes that the side of Arsenal really needs to really thrive and really prosper to where they want to be. Then, left forward, one of the most competitive positions at the club of Arsenal, there is Eze, Martinelli, and a player called Leandro Trossard. Now, in this, I'll go for Eze. You know that. Eze is going to be the lad to obviously play as a left forward. And leading the line, no question about it, it's none other than Victor Gyökeres, a man who really has has 2 goals so far this season. And this is one of the games that you anticipate that he's obviously going to be having an Eze and an Odegaard with him. And if they obviously look out for him intentionally, he can obviously go ahead and really threaten this side of Nottingham Forest and really beat them hands down. So that is my probable starting 11 for the side of Arsenal. Now let's go to the probable starting 11 for the side of Nottingham. For Nottingham, I believe Seals in goal, Savannah, Milokovic, Moliro, and Williams. Those will obviously play into the back four. Anderson, Yetis, and McT will obviously play into the midfield. Then Gibbs White, Hodgson Odoi, and Chris Wood will obviously lead the line for a club known as Nottingham Forest in there. So that's how I really see Nottingham coming in through and featuring into this particular game of football altogether. Now, you know what we obviously go to next. It's all about the timeline and the head-to-head stats. From the head-to-head stats, we'll come up and obviously do the needful and really tell you what our thoughts are about about this game in as far as the prediction is really concerned. I know most of you are like, Rokani, what's your prediction? Please, just wait a little bit. And you'll obviously go ahead to really see us really making history into the mix and into the making. Now, that's what we're really having on the screen, and it's really gonna be very important for you to obviously know about it and really read all allow me read for you. Now, 1. In all competitions, Arsenal have won their last 6 home games against Nottingham Forest by an aggregate of 19-2. The Gunners are unbeaten in 14 games on home soil against Nottingham, 10 wins and 4 draws since a 3-1 defeat back in 1989. Oh my God. It's really that long since Nottingham last beat Arsenal at the Emirates. Secondly, Nottingham Forest have won just 2 out of the 16 Premier League matches against Arsenal, 4 draws and 10 losses, and both wins came at the City Ground in 1996 to 1997 season and the 2022-2023 season. Thirdly, Arsenal's 4th match-winning Premier League run came to an end with a defeat to Liverpool on match day 3. The Gunners have not lost consecutive games in the competition since December 2023. So that is Arsenal for you. And December 2023 was really bad because Arsenal lost to West Ham, they lost to Fulham, and when they went to Dubai, they came back in 2024 and they really put out a very huge run in there for you of games. Then the 4th head-to-head start, Nottingham have lost 5 of their last 11 Premier League matches, and they have 3 wins and 3 draws. Only 1 fewer than in the previous 24 games. 15 wins and 3 draws and 6 losses. Lastly, among current Premier League sides, only Fulham 12 are on a longer run without a clean sheet than Nottingham Forest 11. Away from home, Forest have gone 9 without a shutout since keeping 3 in a row in December and January last season. So their side that has gone ahead obviously keep conceding in very many goals, and we don't know why, but obviously we wait to see how the man on has Ange Postecoglou comes in through to obviously put that void to a close. You understand? Now, my prediction: Arsenal 3, Nottingham Forest 1. That's my prediction. I see a 3-1 win for the club of Arsenal, and obviously that win might take Arsenal back on top of the table because the table leaders, that is Liverpool, will have to play later if you've been following up onto the Premier League fixture. And other Premier League matches, Bournemouth is hosting Brighton, Newcastle is hosting Wolves, Everton is hosting Aston Villa, Crystal Palace is hosting Sunderland, Fulham is hosting Leeds, West Ham is hosting Tottenham Hotspur, Brentford is hosting Chelsea, Burnley is hosting Liverpool. That is Sunday, and United will play away at City come this Sunday of this week. So that's what we had in here onto the Rokani Media Football, and that's my probable starting 11. I don't know what your thoughts are about it, but my thoughts about this is that Tony Madueke, keep a very keen eye on him. That is one. The other player is Eberechi. Keep a keen eye on him. Victor Gyökeres is another one. And obviously Martin Odegaard. I really believe that in games like this, they have a lot to show and really tell the world how they're really ready to see to it that they obviously take it to the next level. And if you're Arsenal, this is the kind of game you need to play this is the kind of game you need to play after losing to Liverpool. Is there any other game that you need to play after losing to Liverpool? If that game is there, I think this is the game that you need to play into this so-called Premier League. Match day 4 comes in through for Arsenal, and they have all what it takes to obviously put more pressure onto the side of Liverpool. However much they are really playing a much weaker side than that Arsenal is obviously going to be playing. Arsenal will obviously go ahead and really play at Emirates against Nottingham, and Liverpool will play away at Burnley. You understand? So if Arsenal wins this game, it obviously piles pressure onto the side of Liverpool, It piles pressure onto the side of Liverpool, I tell you. And Liverpool coming through and really putting a well-required shift in there. But Arsenal would have gone ahead, obviously, do the needful. For the other predictions, I think I'll obviously come live and we talk about match day 4. But remember to go onto the Global, on the Fantasy View Global, where you'll find us talking what we call fantasy. And I'm really going to be putting my team in there for you. So, guys, thank you very much for watching through. Rokan David is my name. And your reactions are welcome in the comment section below. It's all about this beautiful game of football, and we're doing it for the game. And continue to subscribe because we want to hit 28,000 subscribers onto this beautiful channel of ours. And you guys have it in your hands to see to it that we really hit 28,000 subscribers. And on this video, let's get in, because we're really having 27,000 subscribers to 159, meaning that if 49 people subscribe, we are obviously going to be hitting 27,300 subscribers. I'm out. See you later, my mates.